A Whole Food Investigation of Chocolate by Tara Petite. The History of Chocolate. The Theobroma cacao tree, whose seeds are cultivated to make chocolate or cacao, has a rich history spanning many millennia. Though there seems to be some discrepancy as to the origins of chocolate use within past cultures, there is evidence that it showed up in history around 4,000 years ago with the village farmers in southern Mexico's Pacific coastal plain, followed by the Olmec Indians of the area. It is noted that many writers of popular works on chocolate base their findings more on fantasy and speculation than the facts revealed by modern archaeology and ethnohistory, which offer a far more interesting perspective, predating even New World explorer Christopher Columbus's commonly known encounter with the Mayan trading canoe carrying cacao beans. Further, research has now brought the realization that the Spanish invaders of the New World got their earliest real knowledge of cacao, as well as the word itself, not from the Aztecs, but from the Mayan culture of neighboring Central America's Yucatan Peninsula, with even more recent research showing that the Maya were writing the same word on their pottery 1,000 years before the Spanish invaded the New World. Thus, we begin to get a glimpse of the expansive history of chocolate. A timeline of Mesoamerican history shows the Olmec appearing around 1200 to 400 BC, merging into the Mayan culture from 1000 BC to 1521 AD, and then the Aztecs appearing around 1200 AD to 1452 AD. This allows us to see the extensive historical reach of chocolate on the cultures of each period. With references to Mayan chocolate being fairly prevalent in advertising these days, it seems these origins are widely known, but exploring how it evolved from this culture or even before, up until our modern-day consumption, is quite intriguing. Both the Mayan and the Aztecs placed a high value on cacao or chocolate, using the beans as currency, and consequently this is where the expression, "Do you think money grows on trees?" came from. It is interesting to explore what it is these cultures did with cacao and how it evolved as a valuable commodity. There is a wealth of information on the topic available. Chocolate was primarily used as a drink or gruel during the period of Mesoamerican history, with the recipes varying greatly, adding combinations of herbs, sweeteners, and spices. It is also noted that in most Mesoamerican cultures, in contrast to our modern culture, the consumption of chocolate was confined to the elite. Sophie and Michael Coe, experienced researchers and chocolate history enthusiasts, wrote that the cacao pod was symbolic and used in ritual, with possible connections to either the shape resembling a heart or its precious contents, blood or chocolate, with one particular ritual even pertaining to sacrificial extraction of the heart. But in general, chocolate appeared quite a bit in Mayan and Aztec symbology, and, as they point out, for example, the cacao tree appears as part of the cosmic diagram of an Aztec ritual book called the Codex Federveri Mayor, which predated the Spanish conquest of Mexico. Later in history, from the 1500s onward, we see chocolate move into Europe, though the Spanish, for example, are noted to have had an aversion to the taste of the substance, and over time, sweeteners and spices were introduced, leaving it unclear exactly where the traditions of the Aztec diverged into Spanish culture, but clearly showing that the Spaniards did modify them to suit their tastes. By the 1700s, the medicinal use of chocolate plateaued, making way for the new solid bar form, solidifying its reputation as both medicine and food, and creating a new therapeutic market where, under the umbrella of health, chocolate manufacturers promoted products now containing more fillers and flavorings. At this point, it seems that chocolate may have lost much of its medicinal status in favor of the demand for chocolate treats. As use of chocolate expanded, the recognition of its medicinal properties seemed to fuel sales of profitable concoctions. Appreciation for the taste, filling nature, and stimulation likely prompted the invention of the carbonated beverage Coca-Cola in the late 1800s, which began as a patent medicine in America and contained a hefty amount of caffeine from the cacao-related cola nut, as well as cocaine. In modern times, the medicinal view of chocolate shifted to that more of culinary applications, with the resurgence of an interest in the medicinal properties alongside other pharmaceutical products having occurred only in recent times with advancements in biomedical science. Thus, we can see the history of chocolate is not only rich in context, but flavor, value, and potential health-related benefits as well. And with this brief historical overview to build upon, we can next examine how chocolate or cacao may be of value to our health in the present day. But before examining how chocolate could positively impact health, it is useful to take a look at the functional ingredients it contains to understand how they could offer health benefits. What special nutrient properties does it have that facilitate these benefits? Medical research is continuing to find new health-promoting nutrients present in chocolate, but the most well-known are the polyphenols that act as powerful antioxidants in the body. It seems we hear a lot about antioxidants when it comes to health these days, and chocolate does contain antioxidants which help rid the body of free radicals. There needs to be a balance between free radicals and antioxidants for ideal physiological functioning of the body, as if free radicals become too abundant, they overwhelm the body's ability to regulate them, resulting in oxidative stress, which then allows free radicals to negatively impact lipids, proteins, and DNA and potentially trigger disease. However, the damage from free radicals can be averted by antioxidants that prevent their formation, scavenging them and facilitating their decomposition. Yet it has been recently reported that synthetic antioxidants are deleterious to human health. Thus, the search for non-toxic natural compounds with antioxidant activity has become a focus of research, with particular interest in dietary and plant-derived antioxidants. Beyond its antioxidant function, chocolate also contains minerals, vitamins, fiber, and protein, with its most abundant nutrients being magnesium, copper, potassium, and calcium. Copper is used in the body to synthesize collagen and neurotransmitters. Copper deficiencies have been connected to cardiovascular abnormalities, particularly later in life. Additionally, flavonols and methaxanthines, caffeine and theobromine, are two major psychoactive components of chocolate, with caffeine reported to improve alertness and psychomotor function under conditions of fatigue, though there is debate as to the extent of which habitual use of caffeine is healthful or simply a mechanism for relieving withdrawal symptoms. Further, there is research to suggest that theobromine, a caffeine derivative and metabolite found primarily in chocolate, has psychoactive properties similar to caffeine, although their functional mechanisms do differ. Flavonoids are a possible functional ingredient of chocolate as well, with psychoactive potential. They are a diverse natural compound, of which high levels are found in the human diet in both black and green teas, grapes, red wine, apples, and of course, chocolate, which is particularly rich in a distinct complement of flavonols, a subclass of flavonoids. Finally, to complete our overview of the potential functional ingredients of chocolate, we have to examine fats. The fats often get bad press with regard to dietary recommendations. It is useful to be informed about the kinds of fats at our disposal and those that might provide the most health benefits. There are three primary types of fat present in chocolate, consisting of oleic acid, stearic acid, and palmitic acid, contributing to the bulk of the total fat content, with the fourth type, linoleic acid, comprising around 5% and being an essential fatty acid, vital to ideal function of the body. Of the four types of fat, the only one considered less than healthful would be palmitic acid, which has been determined to raise cholesterol. Yet because it only constitutes about 25% of the fat in chocolate, its disadvantages are considered to be outweighed by the three other good fats. Thus, we can see the complexity of the components in chocolate and the potential health-promoting uses, some of which have yet to be discovered. The health benefits of chocolate. Next, we are posed with the question of what exactly makes chocolate so health-promoting and how we might benefit from adding it to our nutritional routine. Current research seems to highlight chocolate's antioxidant properties as contributing to a large focus of its health benefits, but there are studies to suggest it has positive effects on other aspects of health as well. For example, in a review of current research on the health benefits of chocolate, studies were also found to support improvements in mood, though it was made clear that these benefits were associated with whole chocolate rather than its isolated parts. Julie Peck, in her exploration of chocolate, found that there is not only much conflicting evidence about whether chocolate is good or bad for our health, but it is also rivaled by overall conflicting dietary recommendations. As a result, she suggests that the best approach might be a combination of supplementation and consumption of nutrient-dense foods, of which chocolate is one. Also, there is evidence to suggest that chocolate, or its raw form cacao, can aid in weight loss, with studies showing a positive effect on metabolic function. It was found in one trial examining the cross-sectional relationship of chocolate consumption frequency to BMI that moderate, more frequent intake of chocolate is linked to lower BMI, though it is noted that the association could be casual, as other findings also suggest that the composition of diet as well as caloric intake may influence BMI, highlighting the possible need for more trials. In addition, acute ingestion of both solid dark chocolate and liquid cocoa were shown to lower blood pressure, with sugar content potentially mediating the benefits. This suggests the possible benefit of chocolate both with weight loss and obesity-related symptoms. Yet it is cautioned that the total dietary quality is likely to play a large factor in weight loss, not just the isolated consumption of chocolate. Accordingly, it is important to note that related to health benefits, the type of chocolate chosen is essential. Simply because the packaging says dark chocolate or all natural does not mean it is health promoting or even guarantee that it does not contain other ingredients that are harmful to your health. The percentage of chocolate contained in a product will significantly influence its healthful benefits. Thus, it is advised to read labels for added ingredients and to choose products with a minimum of 60% cocoa. Further, another current study found that dark chocolate as compared to milk chocolate promotes satiety, diminishing the desire to eat something sweet and minimizing caloric intake. Overall, it is interesting to consider chocolate, something which most of us enjoy, to offer healthful benefits. To further explore these benefits, it is useful to examine some of the diseases and health conditions for which chocolate might provide some healing potential. Medicinal uses of chocolate. It seems presumptuous to credit chocolate alone with the prevention or treatment of disease, but there is some evidence to support its medicinal use for certain conditions. Here we will get a brief overview of some of its potential medicinal applications. In her book, The Chocolate Therapist, A User's Guide to the Extraordinary Health Benefits of Chocolate, Julie Peck devotes an entire chapter to the ailments and conditions for which chocolate may be a remedy. The conditions include attention deficit disorder, allergies, Alzheimer's disease, anemia, anxiety, arthritis, asthma, blood sugar regulation, caffeine withdrawal, cancer, cataracts, cavities, chronic fatigue, constipation, cramps, depression, heart disease, headaches, immune deficiency, infertility, insomnia, memory loss, hormone balance, osteoporosis, quitting smoking, stress, stroke, vitamin deficiencies, and weight control. Of course, this list is quite ample, and the mechanisms by which chocolate can benefit these conditions vary, but offer additional insights into not only chocolate consumption, but the impact many whole foods can have on our health. So obviously, there are potential medicinal benefits to chocolate spanning the health spectrum, with a caution that, just as with any medication, dosage is important. But for the sake of brevity, and because we have already explored some of the potential health benefits of eating chocolate, we will confine our focus to the conditions that may be remedied by therapeutic consumption of chocolate in the area of mood enhancement. We hear many anecdotal accounts of chocolate having a positive influence on emotional well-being, but is there any scientific evidence to support this assumption? It is thought that chocolate has an impact on neurotransmitters, or chemicals in the brain, which contribute to mood and appetite regulation, but the evidence for its influence on mood remains a topic of continued debate, under which a review of chocolate's pharmacological properties, nutritional components, and sensory attributes must be considered to ascertain the degree to which the substance may alter mood. Thus, we can see the relationship between chocolate and its potential to influence mood is highly complex and involves not only clinical assessment, but must account for situational differences in chocolate consumption as well. Still, the progress in establishing correlation and understanding the mechanisms which underlie the physiological effects of chocolate warrant further investigation. Accordingly, a review notes that one of the most likely causes of attraction to chocolate related to mood would be that it stimulates the release of endorphins, potentially interacting with some neurotransmitter systems that influence mood regulation, but that this may not be specific to chocolate, yet rather a response to ingestion of carbohydrates or a combination of interactions. Overall, it is well established that cacao, or chocolate, has been used medicinally throughout history. Aside from potentially being a binder by which other medicines were administered, cacao is attributed with several specific medicinal uses, including to help emaciated patients gain weight, to both calm and stimulate the nervous system, and to aid in digestion and elimination. But in light of the research, it should also be noted that there is much conflicting information regarding the use of chocolate as a remedy for certain conditions. For example, whether it be a simple internet search or a search of academic journals for headaches and chocolate, you will find evidence to support both consumption and avoidance of chocolate in the management of chronic headaches. Therefore, considering good quality chocolate is readily available in most places, the best test of its efficacy seems to be individual experimentation, with the risk of this experimentation being pretty minimal. Chocolate's superfood status. What is a superfood, and should chocolate have this super status? There is, in fact, no formal definition of superfoods or criteria by which foods are classified as such, but is generally accepted as a term used to describe foods with health-promoting and/or disease-preventing properties above and beyond their usual nutritional value, and stems from the original focus on functional foods or foods with a particular functional ingredient. It is warned that the term superfood is a loose classification of foods that is often used as a marketing gimmick as well. Thus, it is up to the consumer to do their research and determine the potential value of a superfood for themselves. That said, chocolate is often included in this superfood category based on both its functional ingredients but also, again, anecdotal accounts of health benefits. One name that often comes up in relation to chocolate and the term superfood is David Wolfe. He and his co-author Shazzy wrote an informative book called Naked Chocolate, supporting chocolate as the world's greatest food. Though there are many nutritional properties that lend to chocolate's superfood status, most of which relate to the functional ingredients already discussed, there is one particular neurotransmitter in chocolate called anandamide, a type of lipid coined the bliss chemical, that was isolated by a neuroscientist in 1996 as an endogenous cannabinoid naturally found in the human brain and generally known to be released when we are feeling great. In fact, this cannabinoid is compared to cannabis, noting that chocolate, to a much lesser but discernible degree, makes us high. So whether you believe in the power of superfoods and if chocolate deserves its superior status, the research and anecdotal accounts of the potential health benefits it can have is worthy of exploration. My personal chocolate experience. Personally, the science behind the potential health benefits of chocolate fascinates me, but holds relatively little weight with regards to my consumption of it. On my long journey to eat clean and live as healthy as I can in this crazy world, chocolate has made its way in and out of my diet, depending on whether I read that it was a toxin or could cure cancer. These days, possibly as a result of the fact that graduate school has added a bit of stress to my life, I find myself drawn to a small daily dose of raw chocolate. As noted throughout this presentation, quality and quantity seem to be key factors. When I consume whole chocolate mixed with other whole foods like dates or raw nut butter, I feel it might actually have some positive impact on my mood and energy. But I'm also aware that there are many other factors that can influence those things, and I'm not sure I can attribute it solely to chocolate. Nonetheless, for now, I will carry on seeking balance in all areas of my health and continue to look forward to my daily chocolate indulgence.